And 'twas then good hard times for an honest gossoon, for if he didn't make the police, he'd make the dragoon. And whether the judges or soldiers gave sentence, well, the devil of much time was left for repentance. And as many the fine boy was then on escaping, with small share of sitting or resting or sleeping, and because he loved Ireland and scorned not to sell it, afraid for the bloodhound, a mass for the bullet, unrested by night and unsheltered by day, but a straw stack for his barracks and revenge for his pay. For the bravest and noblest and best lad of them all, he was Seamus O'Brien from the town of Glengall. Well, his body was well set and his feet they were light, and the clean fang town had no tooth off his white, and his face was as pale as the face of the dead, and his cheeks never warm with the blush of the red. And for all that he wasn't an ugly young boy, or the devil himself wouldn't blaze in his eye. So cold and so wicked, so calm and so bright, like a fire that flashes out the dead of the night. And he was the best moor that ever was seen, and the elegantest toddler that ever had been. For in foot, for in jumping he gave Jimony a cut, and in fencing he beat that Maloney a foot. And for all he gets up here, there was not in his fear, for be Jesus Christ Almighty, he'd outrun the red deer, and his dancing was such that the men used to stare, and the women gone crazy. He did it so well. I'm sure the whole world had to give in to him there. But it was he was the lad that was hard to be caught, and at oft times he ran, and at oft times he caught. And I remember the neighbours and them telling me quite well, the queer things he did. And to that I heard tell how he frightened the magistrate in Cahill Valley, and escaped from the soldiers in Ottawa Valley. And fled now for yeoman himself against boar, and leather for more in sweet Baltimore. Well, the fox must sleep sometimes, and the wild deer must rest, and treachery preys on the blood of the best, with a small thousand deeds and great things of the past, if within the darkness of night he wasn't taken at last. While Seamus looked back at the beautiful moon, for the door of the prison was closed on him soon. Farewell to the patterns, the dances, the wigs, farewell to the girls that would die for his sakes. And while soldiers brought him to Marlborough jail, with arms sprung bound and refusing all bail, and the dreams of his childhood came over him there, as cool and as fresh as the clear morning air. Well, in a week or two after his trial it came on, and the court now was filled with a terrible throng. There was such a great crowd that the people were bothered, and attorneys and criers when the eager been smothered. And counsellors there as pale as the dead, and the jury sitting up in a box overhead, and silence was called, and the minutes was read, and the court was as still as the face of the dead. And the red big writing, happy Jesus about a yard long at least, and Seamus O'Brien didn't mind a taste. And the judge took a big pinch of snuff and he says, "Now you get to your nut, Jim O'Brien, if you please. My Lord, now your honour, for in my lifetime, if I did any wrong or commit any crime, but if you would ask me, and this I would like, for if in the rebellion I carried a pike, and fought for old Ireland from the first to the close, and shed the last blood of its bitterest foes, I would answer you yes, though my veins are going dry, for the cause I was willing, and I'm ready to die." But silence was great, the jury smiled bright, the judge dying laughing, the job was midnight. By heavens it upset with the scabbard old chap, and with a twinkling he put on his big black old cap. But Seamus's mother, in the crowd standing by, cried out to the judge with a pitiful cry, "Or a judge, darling judge, or don't put him to room. The laddie is young, he didn't know what he was doing. He's the kindest, greatest, the tenderest hearted, going parted forever, we're not so long parted. Judge Muldoon, forgive him. Oh, forgive him, my Lord, and God will forgive you. Now don't say the word." This was the first time that O'Brien was now shaken, for he thought that he was forgotten and forsaken. and into his eyes the tears began to gather, and fell down his filled cheeks, one drop after the other. Well, the morning was bright, and the clouds were on high, and the lark now was singing in the clear morning sky. And a fire the people standing idly so late, and a fire the people standing out on the street. And Seamus O'Brien, pray fervent, pray fact, the saints soon will have you this day you lash. And on to the scaffold the cat took his stand, and the hangman stepped up with a rope in his hand. But the good priest done more, his arms he unbound, and with one mighty leap, Seamus jumps on the ground. Well, bang, bang go the carabines, and scab go the scaffolds. He's not dead, he's alive. Now we're 10 to him neighbours. Well, the soldiers ran this way and more ran that, and Father Maloney lashed his youth on the hat. Said Seamus's mother, let your cappers go back, for 'tis if ye weren't hanging, it's yourselves you must hang. For tonight he'll be sleeping in Ahallow Glen, and the devil in the dices wouldn't catch him again. Well, in a week after that, without firing the cannon, if a big Yankee schooner sailed through the mouth of the Shannon, the captain said word he was going straight across, and be Jesus Christ Almighty, he was bound for New York. And 6 months after that, one spring morning in May, and just about 6 months after the great hangman's day, if a letter didn't come to the town of Kildare, to Mrs. O'Brien in Ireland and Australia, I'm sending you a passage, you better stack it for Cork, and before very long, you'll arrive in New York. And tell now old my Biddy for her to be aware of that old book that had caused the sufferance of Lord of Kildare. And as for those soldiers, those base men of slaughter, I hate them as well as the devil hates holy water. And when you arrive in New York, ask the fastest ways to go to the town of Cincinnati in the state of Ohio. And there you'll be made happy and never made crying. At the harp of the eagle, ran by Seamus O'Brien.
I've got this thing, and it's fucking golden.